You describe some case studies that are about applying big data to solving little problems at a human level, perhaps. Who's got a certain disease, dementia, bubonic plague, but it's just one life. Then there are the examples of MH370, where we'd probably really like to know the moment that critical systems started to be shut down, somebody was going way out of the scope of normal pilot behavior. And I'm curious, from a commercial perspective at IBM, are you seeing customers more interested in solving lots of small incremental problems, or those catastrophic moments, that person we shouldn't let into the country because they're the terrorist, or that pilot that's doing something that will bring the plane down? How does that show up in terms of commercialization of your data solution?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk to that point, just alluding back to the basis that we said in the earlier conversation, right? So we talked about using a lot more unstructured data, as well as a lot of exogenous data. So if you turn back the clock, a few years back, the way data science proceeded is you would get the data that you thought you would need to solve the problem. You would create models, then you would apply it. You would kind of score situations as they came in, and you would apply it, right? And in a sense, it's a closed loop event. With these newer approaches and systems, and especially with the application of exogenous data and a lot of unstructured data, you essentially have systems that are open loop. That example I gave about picking up on the fact that this executive is now on a high-ranking government committee, doing that in real time and then applying that. It makes it an open loop system, which means that there's the possibility of actually avoiding those black swan events that brought hedge funds down and so on and so forth. And so, I mean, the short answer to your question is both. I mean, people are realizing that there is now this potential, and so you can try to avoid these catastrophic events by applying this kind of an approach, which is much more open loop than what we had in the past. But there's still the application to the closed loop systems as well, to make them much more accurate by bringing in more data, and perhaps even more important, more context, right? I mean, the example I gave about the NBA, I mean, now the systems that are available can actually go to video, can gauge distances between players, do all this stuff automatically, and you can now see a way to come back with a pattern that would be far more compelling.
I could also add that in our space, our customers in the days of old were very interested in just making an individual credit decision or selling to somebody, and now, I've been with the company for 15 years. The majority of the conversations I'm in are about the integrated supply chain, or in our government space, bad actors and who might be funding them, for example, or it might be in a context of understanding shifts in behavior in the context of new markets or new opportunities. So those are all those macro problems. And I think that embedded in your question is sort of the suggestion that it's either this or that. And I think embedded in your answer was it's this and that.